Bullshit.
Recording in progress. Let's hope so this time. Hello, Music Multiverse listeners. Welcome to Beyond Your Radio and our latest album listen challenge, episode number 5. Tonight, it's the second Battle of the Jeffs. Although, is it? Both panelists have challenged the other to an album they've never heard, and now we get to find out what they thought about it. They score it and then tell us where it would fall in their listening habit. But before we get into all that listening challenge stuff, have you subscribed to the channel? No? Well, please think about it, because subscribing has its benefits, although I really don't know what they are, except for being with us, because we want you in. For those of you that have subscribed, thank you as always. If you know other music lovers, we'd certainly love to entertain them as well. Please remember, each panelist will reveal the album they received, their initial thoughts without even having listened to it, then they'll score it. On the scoring, that's album artwork 0 to 5, that's album full of music 0 to 5, the musicianship, melody, band 0 to 5, accessibility 0 to 5. Is it easy to get into the music? And if it is, that's a 5. If it's tough and you got to listen to it again and again, doesn't mean it's good or bad. That would be the lower score. Album production 0 to 5. And then finally, we tally it all up to see who the winner is. But we really don't care, because the winner is that you got to listen to it and maybe it changes your music habit. Then finally, that question I said, whether or not it would be around. This is one and done for me. I like it. It could grow on me, maybe. I really enjoyed it. It will become maybe an album I listen to frequently. And then the final one, I can't believe I missed this. It's now my new favorite album. Holy crap. Anyway, let's start the show off with Jeff Young. I'm having a sense of deja vu. What album did Jeffrey Johnson, the Grateful Dude, give you?
I have Aoxomoxoa,
Close enough for horseshoes.
The Grateful Dead. From 69, their third studio album. It's got 8 tracks. It's 36 minutes, not super long. This is an album that it's really good. I mean, I do not listen to the Dead. I never really did. Never once turned an album on to listen to it. Heard some on a radio, some of the later Dead stuff that was still being played on radio before even internet radio was out around, or terrestrial radio, we'll call it. But then this album, it's pretty easy to listen to. It's definitely 60s album. It's it's got a little bit of psychedelic. I was telling Jeff earlier that it sounded like there was a harpsichord in there, because there's moments where they're just almost like just a jam session. Other times it's bluesy. Other times you get the hints of folk music. Then you get your harmonies mixed in there. The lead vocals are a combination of the regular voice and then even kind of like your head voice. There's storytelling as some of these songs go, and they even got some of the distortion on the vocals. Kind of like, I guess the easiest reference I could think of is the 60s voice distortion from like Tommy James and the Shandell's Crimson and Clover. But I like it all. It's good. I mean, I would say of the 8 tracks, I mean, clearly 5 are, I think, very good. And it's just a good album. I mean, I was saying to like track 4, doing that rag, it made me, I was kind of starting to think about, but this really sealed it for me. Like I really started thinking of bands that are newer bands, newer than the Dead anyway, that must have been influenced, because it really sounded to me like it could have been like something like the White Stripes, that you've heard similar patterns, especially on track number 4. And there's a wide variety of instruments too on this album. Like, made me think of how like everyone talks about how the Beatles would explore different things, but I feel like if this is any indication, I feel like the Dead must have been one of those bands too that did that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I definitely catch the Beatles, especially in the second song of Dupree, something something Dupree, very very much Beatlesque, and it caught me off guard for me. I wasn't expecting that. I'm always expecting the Southern rock, jam, blues, folk. Ready for scoring there, Captain?
Dupree's Diamond Blues, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's it. Dupree's Diamond Blues. Yes.
Yeah, no, I definitely felt that too. Jeff, you were saying the singer Weir was influenced by the Beatles, right?
Yeah, Bob Weir's definitely influenced by the Beatles. I think all of them had some influence. You got to remember when you're a band starting out in '66 and '67, it can't help not be somewhat influenced by the Beatles. You know,
Yeah,
got a lot of dead air here.
Well, I can edit that. So anything else, Jeff? Before we
yeah, a couple
score?
things I was reading about them, like um the Rolling Stones, I think really liked this band, the Rolling Stone magazine.
Mhm.
They named it the eighth best album cover of all time, and I think that was in the '90s, maybe '95. They did that. Which the artwork, you know, the other thing I read about it was that the artwork it's adapted from a painting that's originally created was a concept poster for the band. Um, the bottom portion it's death and rebirth and cycle of life. Then you got the fertility symbol from the skull going into the egg, which is the sun, um, being fertilized. But yeah, I mean, especially for that time, that seems very 60s to me, but it also seems creative and artistic, and you know, so that what's funny to me is that is originally almost like an advertisement. That's supposed to be a concert poster. Okay, that's
Yeah.
an ad, But it was so good they're like, hey, we just keep the art. Let's just use that.
Yeah. And put it on your wall must mean it's pretty good.
And it said it was originally called Earthquake Country. I think that's a really good name too, considering where they're from.
Oh yeah, well that was the whole thing, is that earthquake country, because when they were in the middle of San Francisco when they recorded this.
Mhm. And then they recorded it twice because the studio had secured one of the first ever in the world 16 track machines, and I read where they thought that was a great idea because then they'd be one of the first to ever do that. Like no one had ever recorded in that machine before. They thought it would give them some more flexibility and new ways of doing things, but it had excessive bills for recording for studio time, and they redid it from scratch after they had most of the demos done. So at the time, it cost $180,000 to make, which if you equate that to even what I read, if it was in 2022, even then it would be 1.4 million.
A lot of studio
That's
time.
that's a lot of money for a record.
Yep. Yep.
All right. So album artwork, 0 to
5.
5.
We'll go with a 5.
5. Hey, makes sense to me. Album full of music.
I'll give it a 4.
Okay.
I think with the flow is like I said, that I think most of the tracks you could mix and match them. It's not. I don't think it really matters too much where they were placed.
Yeah. Musicianship, band, melody.
Definitely a 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Accessibility for the listeners, 0 to 5.
It's easy to listen to. It's not. I think a lot of people have a perception of what the Dead would be like, and like uh, even me not knowing the Dead, you still have some type of perception of what you're getting into, and it wasn't that at all. It was just good. It was a combination of folk, blues, rock, uh, little psychedelic. It was just good. It's a good snapshot of the '60s. I think like anybody who wants to listen to a piece of the '60s, but doesn't want to go too far into it. Like I think that's just a good. They're just good songs.
Yeah. So that's a 4, right?
Correct.
Okay. Album production to end it, 0 to 5.
I'll give it a 4. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. That's a 22. All right. I thoroughly enjoyed the record too. And when I listened to it for the first time about a couple years ago, I think it was, or a year ago. Absolutely, absolutely. Well done. Grateful dude. What did Jeff Young send you?
Well, they sent me something that was extremely in my wheelhouse. I've heard this band before. Mark has turned me on to some of their albums in the past, but I've never heard this album. We are talking about the Watchmen, and the name of the album is Silent Running, or Silent Radar.
Yes, Silent Radar.
Yeah. So I was blown away. I was completely blown away. The guy's voice is just intoxicating. The band knows what they're doing. This is not some band that just learned how to play their guitars. These guys are well practiced and know what they're doing. The drummer, on the other hand, is just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And me and Mark were talking earlier, and yeah, the guy makes it look easy, but man, he really can play. I enjoyed the heck of this album. I was almost infatuated. I especially enjoyed the track Stereo. I really liked that track. Say Something and He's Gone. I enjoyed the heck out of it. I really like this album. I've actually downloaded their whole catalog, and on a future vacation, which is coming up soon, I'm planning to listen to their whole catalog and see how it mixes in my head. But no, these guys, where have they been all my life? Because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's one of those Canadian things again where you just wonder why is it not more popular? The band, when they did Silent Radar, which is the final track on that record, or Brighter Hell, the final track, it started to gain really good traction. By that time, album sales were just about over. So the momentum of the entire record was kind of stopped and stolen. But Brighter Hell is for me one of it's probably their second best song in their entire catalog. But they have an amazing catalog. So you'll have fun with that. Definitely.
Yep, I plan to.
If you like the drummer, you'll like especially some of the tracks on their debut album. Has some they accentuate the drumming quite a bit on some of the tracks.
Definitely a more raw sound though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
This album was very polished. Very polished.
So on that note, album artwork.
3.
The album flow of music.
4.
The musicianship of the band and melody.
5.
Okay. Accessibility, 0 to 5. Was it easy to get into or for a listener?
4.
And album production, 0 to 5.
5.
All right. That is 21. Pay the man. Nice jackpot there. 21.
Yep.
So we got 21 to 22. Pretty damn close. Winners all around. Now the final question. Let's go to Jeff Young and say, well, where does this fall in your listening habit? One and done. It's not for me. I like it. It could grow on me. I really enjoy it, and it will become something I listen to more frequently. And finally, I can't believe I missed this. It's one of my new favorite albums. And
that's the real question.
Or did you become
a
deadhead? That's our new category.
Yeah. That's the real question, because that's the real challenge is, like, in a week, am I going to miss it? Am I going to be wanting more of it? Like, so I don't know, but I'll let you know in a week. But so it's still in some sense a challenge for me, but it's more of a welcome challenge. It's like I would definitely be interested in hearing some more.
I like that. And now we go to the Grateful Dude and his experience with, and he's already said he's downloading the entire catalog. So one and done, not for me. That's obviously out. I like it. It could grow on me. I really enjoy it, and it will become an album I go back to from time to time. Or I can't believe I missed this. It's one of my new favorite albums.
Are you
Well, I
a,
won't
are
put
you a
the
watch
favorite
head now?
album. I won't put a favorite album, but definitely it was something I'm going to listen to quite often.
Yeah.
Really, really enjoyed it.
It's always
so
refreshing when you get something you want to actually add to your collection.
Oh, I add everything in my collection because I'm all digital now. So if I hear it, I push the button. It's fine. So
Yeah.
I have too many albums. Actually,
I got
Mark
a
has
few.
too many albums. So
You know, what did you out there in the music multiverse think of these two albums? Did you actually know them? What did you think of them? Or what would you score them? Please like and comment. We would absolutely love to hear from you. And, we also listen, the bands chime in from time to time. Thank you to the Grateful Dude and Jeff Young for doing this. This is not an easy task. But in this case, I guess it was a little bit easier than normal. We'll be back in 2 weeks for a special album listen challenge. More on that as the weeks go on. Check us out on beyondyourradio.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Coming up, as always, every day is album for today. And in March, I'm doing a March Madness theme. So you can check that out. These are maddening albums in some way, shape, or form. Album Review Saturday features the latest from Caravan Palace from France, Julian Lage, and Liam Gallagher with John Squire record. That seems to me like that would be an interesting album. Can't wait to talk about that. And Unknown Sunday, well, if I told you, I'd have to kill you. So you'll have to wait till Sunday. Go Beyond Your Radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I don't have to say that I didn't press record like the last time.
And
Happy listening.
One more thing.
Oh,
If anyone knows the Watchmen, tell them we need one last tour in the U.S. for 3 cities: Buffalo, Hawaii. That's not a city, but that's where you just go over there, and Tampa. Thanks, appreciate it.
yeah, to Mr. Greaves, help us out.
Go to Hilo.
Yes, yeah, right in Hilo. And you know what? We'll go to all 3.
Absolutely.
Happy listening, everyone.